Hello MGTOW Nation, this is the Dark Knight. Welcome to the Batcave. At this point in your journey to transcendence, hopefully you have weaned yourself off of women, off the drug that is your biological attraction to females. And it is probably the most powerful drug on the planet for us men. And you've weaned yourself off it, but that doesn't mean you aren't going to be feeling the effects. And the effects and attraction is really, it's like a drug. It has the same effects biochemically and neurologically as a drug addiction, and I've been over this. And you're going to experience anxiety, sweating, even if you get too stressed, indigestion, irritability, fatigue. If you're prone to migraines like I am, lots and lots of migraines. But what you're really going to be feeling, what it all boils down to, is you're just going to experience an all-time low, a drug crash. You know, you're gonna feel low. You're going to feel low because your drug of choice, the most powerful drug that's been driving us men for our whole lives, our attraction to females, suddenly that drug no longer has its effect because you've seen how detrimental and how destructive that drug can be if you let it take advantage of you. And that drug is your attraction to females. But it's more than just being attracted to them. It's the fact that we put our trust in females. We're taught to raise them up above ourselves, to think of them as the fairer sex, to think of them as just, angels. And suddenly the facade is gone. It's gone, and you realize they are just as bad as men. They are just as evil and manipulative, if not more so than us. So not only have you weaned yourself off a drug, but you've realized how damaging this drug has been to you for your whole life, and that you were given this drug and you were lied about this drug. You were lied and you were told that, that females were going to respect you, that if you were a good guy, that you were going to get the girl of your dreams, you're going to ride off into the sunset, and that as long as you gave a woman what she wanted, everything was going to be great, and she was going to respect you, never manipulate you, never use you, never abuse you, blah, 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 blah. So you were given this drug. Okay. You were told that it was completely safe to take. And so you took it in excess because that's what everyone else was doing. You chased after girls day after day after day. You built yourself up, worked as hard as possible, all so you could get the girl of your dreams because that's what you were taught to do. And suddenly at this point, you've weaned yourself off of females as hard as it's been. And you've realized that everything you were taught about them was a lie. So it's kind of a double whammy. Not only are you suffering from a drug withdrawal, which is going to leave you at an all-time biochemical low, neurologically speaking, but you're also going to be angry that you were lied your whole life, that no one warned you that this was going to happen, that you were told that, women were these amazing mystical creatures. And you went in, chased after them, and they used, abused you, and spit you out. And here you are. Not only are you angry, but now there's a huge void because your drug of choice has been taken away from you. And it's been taken away from you, and you've thrown it away because you realize that it can be destructive if you let it run your life. And let's be honest, we've all let females run our lives because we didn't know any better. We thought that if we gave them the respect, if we were the nice guy, if we did all the things that everyone told us to do, that they were going to reciprocate and do the same thing in return. But they didn't. And so you're in a stage of withdrawal. You're at an all-time low. At this point, you probably are lacking motivation because really your whole life was probably, you were probably working towards getting the girl of your dreams, settling down, getting married, and having kids. And that is completely out the door. And I'm sorry. I know how hard that is. I really, really do. This is most likely going to throw you for a loop. Your habits are probably going to change. As I said, you're going to lack complete motivation. And this is where you have to be very careful. You have to keep at least maintaining your life. You're suddenly not just... You're just going to want to sit down, sit in the corner, and just go to sleep, cry, whatever, and not do anything. Because it's like, you know what? You were fucked over by the world so many times. Why should you go out and keep living your life? And that's a good point, but you're just in a dark place and you need to keep at least maintaining your lifestyle. I'm not asking you to feel things. I'm not asking you to to even think about what's been happening or to even try to come to terms with it yet. It's okay at this point to compartmentalize, because at this point you've been through the ringer. You are getting over a drug addiction, and that is very, very, very hard. But you have to maintain your life. If it means just being a robot, getting shit done, going to work, working out, eating well, I know it's going to be like a chore, but if you don't maintain your life, you run the risk of becoming like the hikikomori. And that's okay to want to withdraw, to go into hibernation. That's what I'm going to talk about next. But at this point, many MGTOW, myself included, I almost fell into this trap. You just completely shut yourself off from everything and your life falls apart. And it's easy to fall into this trap because you're getting off the drug that is your attraction to females. And there's no like weaning process for this. And there's no rehab center to help you out. With other drug addictions, they wean you off using other substances, other chemicals, therapy. There's no one you can go to. There are no centers you can go to say, I need to wean myself off of females because they are destroying my life. There's no roadmap for this. There's no therapy for this. You have to go cold turkey, which is the one thing that they tell every drug user not to do. But you have to do it just out of necessity. So the side effects of going cold turkey, of course, on any drug and on this drug are absolutely pronounced. So you're going to be tired at this point because you've just gotten over a drug, and it was a lot of energy to do that. And so at this point, all I want you to do is I just want you to maintain your lifestyle. You don't have to go out and try to conquer the world. I know you don't feel like doing that. You don't have to go out, meet new people, try to get educated and blah, 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 blah yet. Shelve that for now. It's okay. Just maintain your lifestyle. Do what you need to do every day. Keep as low of an energy state as possible. Okay, at this point, you are trying to heal. And as I've said before, healing is painful and healing takes energy. It comes and it starts and it goes in fits and starts. Some days you're going to feel like shit. Other days you're going to feel like you're on top of the world. At this point, you're just going to start to have more bad days than good days. But you have to hold on. You have to bear down and realize that soon enough, it's going to be good days to bad days 1-to-1. And then slowly you're going to have more and more good days. But at this point, you're depressed and you're pissed off that you were used by women and that you've had to wean off this drug and there's a huge void in your life. So my advice, keep a low energy state. Just maintain your lifestyle. Do what you need to do and then come home and be alone if you want. It's okay. It's okay to go into hibernation. That being said, do not let this hibernation overtake you and not, be like the hikikomori, not come out of your room for 4 years or completely cut yourself off from everyone forever and never come back out into the world. And that brings me to the next stage, and that is going into a mental and or physical hibernation. If you've ever been hurt, say physically you've been hurt, right after you've been hurt or you've had some type of traumatic event, you usually want to just, you're usually very tired. And why are you tired? Well, this is a physical reaction. Your body has suffered, your body or mind or both has suffered a trauma. And so what it's telling you to do is your brain's releasing chemicals say, you need to lay down, you need to get into a safe place and go to sleep. Why? Because you need to rest so your body can repair itself. And so, without even knowing it or consciously doing it, you're going to go into hibernation. And this is simply a response that your body is doing, that your mind is doing, to get you in the lowest energy state possible so it can start to repair itself. And this is totally okay, going into a mental and or partially physical hibernation. That's what I did. After the girl that I wanted to marry broke my heart, after I started to get over it, got over my addiction, I went into hibernation. I just didn't feel anything. I couldn't feel anything, and I didn't want to feel anything because I was just too much in shambles to actually want to or to let emotions even come to the surface. And I think it is okay to hibernate at this point because you need to build yourself back up. And so at this point, you're probably going to just unknowingly or knowingly shut off your emotions. You're not going to feel shit, and you don't want to feel shit because you need to repair, you need to rest. And at this point, all you need to do is maintain. Maintain your lifestyle. Maintain your physical fitness. Maintain your health. Maintain your job. But do not make the mistake of hibernating and never coming out again. My advice would be to set a date for yourself, or to start to set trips in the near or distant future that will force you out of your funk, out of your habitual hibernation, so that eventually you'll come out again, you'll rejoin the world. Let's not be like the hikikomori. Let's not lock ourselves away from society, because as much as we all want to do that, I want to do it, and I'm sure many of you want to do it after you've been screwed over and put through the ringer. If we, as I said before, if we MGTOWs are going to change the world, and I think we can't have all of us locked in our rooms. We have to come out of hibernation, rejoin the world in our own way. If for nothing else than to enjoy the rest of our lives. As I've talked about before, while you're going into hibernation, you're not going to probably feel anything. And I've talked about this before. You're going to be emotionally blunted. You're getting over your addiction. Now you've gotten over it. You're weaning off it. You're going through withdrawal. It's going to make you depressed. And as an adaptation, your mind is going to basically shut off emotion. You're not going to want to feel anything, and you're going to basically flatline emotionally. And that coincides with you hibernating. It's your mind, it's your body simply going into a low energy state, repairing itself, or just getting into a low energy state and coming out, hopefully, when the conditions get better. But the sad part is that the conditions might not get better in the foreseeable future. Women are still going to use and abuse you if you let them. Gynocentrism is still running rampant, and I know that's not what you want to hear. It's not going to change anytime soon, and I'm sorry. I really am. I hate it just as much as you do. You might also fall into the trap of what I did, was that you're going to relapse, or you're going to try to relapse. You're going to lie to yourself, and you're going to say that, no, not all women are like this, and that I'm going to go out and I'm going to give them another chance. And you're going to try to date around. You're going to try to get back to some semblance of normalcy. You're going to try to go back on the drug, because you're going to convince yourself that somehow this drug isn't as bad, this attraction to females, this addiction to them isn't as bad as we're saying that it is, and that females, gynocentrism isn't this bad. You're going to convince yourself, because it's easier to just go back. It's easier to plug back into the lie that you've been living your whole life. And take it from me, that didn't work. I tried to convince myself that this was all false, and that females were still these amazing people, and that I was going to find the girl of my dreams. And so I'm telling you that it's not going to work, but if you don't believe me, then the only way you're going to believe it is if you go out and do it yourself. Because even if you try to lie to yourself, you try to convince yourself that it's going to be okay, that you can still find the girl of your dreams, that there's a Nawalt out there for you. If you've ingested enough MGTOW content, if you've taken the red pill, if it's in your bloodstream, if it's digesting, you're not going to be able to shut off the knowledge you have. You're going to try to go out on those dates, I guarantee you, and you're going to see female nature firsthand. And with this new knowledge, you're going to see exactly how women are trying to manipulate you on date number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you're not going to go back. Save yourself some time. Trust me, I've tried it. I tried to lie to myself, and it didn't work. It didn't work because with new knowledge, we have memory, and you cannot forget this. And as I said before, the red pill is just as mental as it is epigenetic, and once you take it, there is no going back. And I know that might be kind of scary to hear, because it's like, holy crap, part of you just wants to go back to this facade of ignorance. But let's be honest, were you really happy in that facade? I mean, it was comforting because it was something you knew your whole life, but you can be in a shitty relationship and get back in it, not because it's a good relationship, but just because it's comforting. It provides some sense of normalcy. And now that you've gotten over your female addiction, your sense of normalcy is totally fucked up. Your equilibrium is completely thrown off, and it's throwing you for a loop. You're also going to probably feel the most vulnerable and scared you've felt in a while, because, the thought of finding a girl of your dreams, of settling down, of being a father, a good husband, all this happy crap that we know is a bunch of bullshit. The thought of that, it's like a teddy bear. It was comforting. It was something that, we were taught that we would have eventually one day if we worked really hard and if we were really good guys. And so it's something that we thought we were working for our whole lives. Now all of a sudden, the one thing that we thought we wanted our whole lives, we realize is bullshit. We realize that we can't go down that path. And so it's like, as a child, taking away your pacifier, taking away your teddy bear. You have nothing to comfort you anymore. And it's scary. So you got this huge void in your life. You're trying to find meaning. You're trying to find, subconsciously, a new drug of choice. So what do? First, you're going to be frustrated. And that's totally okay. I recommend finding an outlet for your frustration. For me, it was working out in MMA, or mixed martial arts. I needed catharsis. You need to get out your energy. If you get out your energy, one, I find that when I'm very tired, when I get out all my energy, all my frustration, all my problems, it makes my mind calmer because I just don't have the energy to think about things and overthink them. So I recommend finding something to get out your excess energy and frustration. For me, I recommend taking an MMA class, working out, going to the boxing gym, punching the bag. Honestly, you're going to have a lot of frustration, you're going to have a lot of pent-up energy, and it needs to come out somewhere. Might as well be in the gym where you can start to build your body up, build yourself up from the ground up physically and mentally. Second, I've seen some MGTOW comments where men, they fall into these deep depressions and substance abuse and or suicidal thoughts follow. Please, 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 please do not fall into that trap. If anything, you're going to be very vulnerable right now, and alcohol and drugs are going to seem like a very, very quick fix to numb the pain. Please, please, I'm begging you, I'm telling you, be very, very careful. Be very careful. And do not mix that stuff in your state right now, because many times drug addicts, what will they do? They'll just exchange one drug for another, and that is exactly what you are doing. Do not fall into that trap. Keep yourself healthy. You're not going to be happy at this point, but keep yourself healthy, and please, I know it's cliche, but stay off the drugs, kids. Again, if you need the high, I will say it again, I recommend physical exercise. Something that helped me was that I would take weekly or bi-weekly trips to hike. Here in Charlottesville, we have great hiking. So I would recommend going out in some way, shape, or form into nature. It's because it is away from people, it is away from society, and it's relaxing just anecdotally because, the nature, it's beautiful, gorgeous, but it's also relaxing because you're away from the prying eyes, you're away from people, you are completely unplugged. I recommend, at the very least, just bring your cell phone, turn it on silent, get out, get away from nature, unplug yourself from everything technological and everything civilized. If you live in an urban area, go to a park, go anywhere where there is nature, where you can just sit, look around, and just be outside. Focus on what you are doing. Focus on what is in front of you. Don't think about what has happened. Don't think about, don't think about the girl you once loved and how she's gone forever. Don't think about that. Just think about what is in front of you. Listen to the birds. Look at the trees. Hell, climb a tree. I love climbing trees. If it's a park with a playground, just go on the swing set, climb the monkey bars, be a kid again. Just get out of your normal rut and get back into something natural. Remember, we're animals. We're animals. We came from nature. So go back to where you came from. This is so therapeutic because society right now is so disordered. But nature has order. It has always had order. It will always have order. Even when it becomes disordered, it still manages to bring itself back to equilibrium. And that is what is so beautiful about it, in my opinion. At this point, you've probably lost faith in all womankind and probably humankind. And it's a reaction at some points. For myself, it was an overreaction, but I understand where you're coming from. I do. I get it. But please, at this point, while you're hibernating, have some semblance of interaction with the outside world. Okay, come online, at least come online to the MGTOW videos, talk to people, listen to MGTOW content, post on MGTOW channels, have a conversation, and please, peripherally, keep in touch with your family, with your dude friends. Keep in touch with them at least peripherally. You might not want to see many people, you might not want to go out, do stuff. You're going to be lacking motivation, but still keep some semblance of contact with people, because if you are left, we are humans, we're social, and if we're left to our own devices, especially when you're in this vulnerable state, you run the risk of becoming like the hikikomori and just completely cutting yourself off. Some human interaction is absolutely beneficial, and it's going to keep you connected to the world, so that eventually you're going to have to come out of your hibernation, because you don't want to be, as MGTOWs, if we want to change the world, if we want to do something, we can't be hibernating forever. Eventually we're going to have to come back out. Lastly, have an end date for your hibernation. Okay? Have an end date, or at least a date where you start to force yourself to live life again. Okay? Where you just get out of the rut you're going to be in. And it's okay to be in a rut because you're in hypersleep. Okay? It's okay. I get it. But you need to have milestones where you slowly come back out into society or come back out into the world. You can do this by, say, planning a trip that will force you to get out, that will force you to travel. Making plans with good friends and having them hold you to do those plans, so that you can't just back out and go, stay in your room or stay in your apartment and never interact with anybody. For me, what helped is that I just threw myself into my work. I just told my boss I'll be working overtime. And that's exactly what I did. And so since he was paying me for overtime, I had to work overtime. I had to get out. I had to do things. And so no matter what I wanted to do, I just wanted to curl up, not do anything, not talk to anyone. I had to go to work. I had to do something. I had to keep myself busy. What it's all about right now is just keeping yourself busy, keeping your hands moving. Okay? Just maintaining your life. I believe many MGTOWs get depressed and fall into a rut that they have difficulty coming out of, is because they haven't found their new purpose. Their purpose before was chasing after girls, getting the wife of their dreams, wifing her up, and then just riding off into the sunset. And right now, you have no clear purpose. Okay, and that's scary. And a man without a purpose, we just completely lack motivation. We have to have a mission. While you're in hibernation, start thinking about what your life's mission is. Start thinking about the legacy that you want to leave, what the things that you want to do. Start writing them out. Okay, just start writing down at least ideas of what you think you want to do, what you think you want to accomplish, where you want to go, what you want to do, who you want to be, who you want to meet. Every single thing. Just write out every single thought, stream of consciousness. Okay. What you have to do in your hibernation, in your downtime, it is time for us, it is time for you to figure out what your life's purpose is, to figure out what you want the rest of your life to be about. And as scary as this is, as I've said before, it's also exciting. The sky isn't the limit, the universe is the limit. Okay, as I said, the brakes are off. All these societal norms that you had to follow before, the chains are completely off. You are out of the box. You can break through those walls. You have broken through the walls. So now, think about what you want to do. Think about where you want to go. Think about what you want your legacy to be. It's a huge, huge question. But it can be anything you want it to be, and that's what's so exciting about it. Each day while you're in hibernation, visualize yourself getting stronger. You are resting. You are recuperating. You are rebuilding yourself. Brick by brick, fiber by fiber, cell by cell. It's going to be a long, arduous process. Some days, as I said, it's going to feel like you're getting worse. You're going to feel like you've made no progress. Other days, you're going to feel like you're on top of the world. It's going to be back and forth, and it's going to be tiring. But realize that the good days are going to start to outnumber the bad days. Things are going to get better. And when you come out of this proverbial darkness, you'll not only be a better person for it, but you will be completely in control of yourself, and you can start to grab your destiny by the horns, and you can start to live life how you wanted to live life. We've all got to play some catch up. We've been lied to for so many years. So it's time to take your life back. It's time to rest, recuperate, figure out what your direction is, and just fucking go for it. So it's okay. Sit down, rest, just maintain. Every once in a while, just try to crack a smile, even if you don't feel like it. If you need to vent, go out and work out. Go take a walk. Come onto the MGTOW channels. Listen to what we have to say. Post your own thoughts. Make your own channel. Send out your story. Connect with people. But just rest. Rest, recuperate, and you're going to come out of this. I promise. Again, thank you guys so much for listening. Remember, keep the faith. Realize that things are going to get worse before they can get better, but if you want them to, they will get better. I promise. So again, thank you so much for listening, and let's keep this happening going strong, boys.